Hello everyone, thanks for joining me in this video. I'm up in Montana right now as I'm recording this. We decided we needed to get out of town for a while, so had a chance to get away for the weekend and headed up to Custer National Forest in Montana. It's about 100 miles probably from Gillette, so not too bad. Not super convenient, but not too bad either. Certainly close enough for a weekend getaway. Had some nice scenery on the way up. It's really remote from Gillette all the way up here. We go through the little town of Biddle, which is just a tiny little town, like one of those don't blink or you'll miss it towns. And then you go through the little town of Broadus, Montana, which has a nickname of being the wavingest town in the West. So we went through there, and then you head on out towards Ashland, out in the middle of nowhere, and we first checked out a Forest Service campground right off of Highway 212 in Montana, the Red Shale campground. It was pretty well filled up, and neither one of us is big fans of campgrounds to start with. We prefer dispersed camping where it's quieter and more remote. But we checked it out and it was full, so we kept on moving on. And from there we checked out a couple Forest Service roads that apparently do allow dispersed camping, but they were both fairly more like two-track than real roads. Obviously didn't get a lot of traffic, but we didn't see any good camping spots along either road. So then we ended up heading up to another campground north of there. And it's only a little tiny Forest Service campground here, and we thought, it only has 3 sites apparently. So we thought, well, we'll never be able to get a spot there on a nice summer weekend in Montana. But as it turns out, the place was empty. We had it to ourselves, and literally, other than a couple of people coming through and checking it out and leaving, we didn't see anybody all weekend. So that was real nice. Can't believe the place was empty this weekend. It's just a little campground. It's got a vault toilet and no water or anything. And there's the campsite we're actually at here. It's kind of off by itself, and then there are 2 others kind of over there behind me that are grouped so close together you'd almost think they're one site, but apparently it's 2 sites. So, but there was nobody here, so it didn't matter. We were hoping to see a lot of wildlife here because we're in the National Forest and miles from anything. We're like, 20 miles from the little town of Ashland or something. So, but we haven't seen much for wildlife. We did see a couple of deer, including a fawn. So that was cool. But for the most part, we haven't seen much wildlife. We do have a lot of birds here. Robins, of course, but also magpies and mountain bluebirds. And we have a woodpecker that's been buzzing around, knocking on trees. I've tried to get pictures of the woodpecker a few times, and it just hasn't worked out. He's too fast. He doesn't stay in one spot too long. But that's been fun watching them. A pretty scenic area here. Lots of wildflowers are in bloom. Including some of them I don't recognize, but there's a lot of wild roses around here, which is neat because I haven't seen those since I was in Montana last. We had them back where I used to live in upstate New York. We had a lot of wild rose, and they're all over the place in Montana in the forest. Something about I guess it's just the right environment for them. They grow well around Montana in the forests, in the Ponderosa forests. But I haven't seen them in Wyoming. I don't know, maybe there's some down there still. I just haven't seen them. But there's a lot up here, so that's been nice to see them because they're in bloom with some of the other wildflowers. We're actually at, the spot we're at actually is like I said, about 20 miles from Ashland. There was a wildfire through here a while ago, so the campground itself was mostly spared, but around it on 2 sides you can see the evidence of a wildfire that went through a few years ago. Lots of scarring and a lot of dead trees that are just hanging there. Haven't fallen down yet. 2 of my kids, my daughter and one of my sons actually used to be wildland firefighters, and they did, about 5 years ago, they were on a big fire down near Ashland. So I'm wondering if this is it. I don't know. I'm going to have to ask them if this is the fire they were on. It did me a world of good getting away from the city for a few days. Even though we generally hang out places that aren't too noisy, still there's just more going on than suits me. So this has been really great to get away for a couple days and get some peace and quiet and enjoy nature a bit. So it's just a weekend getaway. Got to get back to things this week. The phone service here runs between no service at all and with a booster, you might sometimes get a little bit of LTE service, but it's hit and miss. It's pretty sporadic, so. But that's okay, because I planned on being offline for the weekend, so it's all right. That's one of those things you run into a lot when you're exploring Forest Service campgrounds out in the middle of nowhere, is that you know, phone coverage is going to be pretty spotty. So I knew that going into it, and just decided when we were heading up here that we probably wouldn't have anything. So no problem there. But all in all, it's been a great weekend getting away, being able to relax and get the stress level down, decompress a little bit, and so hopefully go back and hit it this week and get some things done again. But it was a really nice, definitely worth the trip to get out of town for a while and relax. So hope you enjoy these other few clips that are coming up from around here, and we'll see you in the next video, everybody. Thanks. No, that's good. Nothing like a cup of fresh hot coffee in the Montana forest on a beautiful morning. I've come across a few of these flowers. I'm not sure what they are, and we've only seen them a couple times, and every time we do, it's in a burned area, over area that's got a dead fallen tree.